Good afternoon. I'd like to talk about rumor tracking because we've set up a few projects recently in the Ebola context and in Nepal, and I'd like to share some thoughts about it with you. Because I think they're highly fascinating. They force us to think differently about how we gather our feedback. Going from fishing for it and maybe afterwards bragging about the size of it, I'd like to see us change it and look for tools that facilitate feedback that is maybe coming to us and is like happily shared rather than being chased after. So I think that's where I want to go to. Like I want to open us up as organizations with the tools we're using, with the questions we're asking, but also with, like, as a whole organization, not only the communicators, how open are we as an organization, as a system? So that's why this is my ambition. I think rumors are interesting because they're unformatted, because they are the way they are, and we're not judging them. We're not asking them whether they're true or false. We're taking it as it comes to us. And then we look at them and we see how rich they are as an information source. They're often hiding a lot of needs, a lot of comments, a lot of criticism, a lot of even lies. Like it comes in many different forms, and initially we're not going to judge it. We're going to look at it, and this is why I think they are very revealing. The rumors are much more sophisticated and much more than what we get, and maybe much more rich than we get through the questionnaires that we're usually asking. I think that it forces us to open up, to think about the tools that we're using, and to think about like what comes in, and is it an enabling environment in which we actually allow people to talk the way they talk, in the language that they do, about the things that they want to talk to us, not about the things that we want them to talk to us. That's why I also think we have to go local. It has to be the environment they are in and the way that they are organized themselves. We have to keep it local because it also keeps the detail that is relevant locally. It has to be facilitated. Again, people like to share their information with their peer, with the channels they know, local media being one of them. This actually comes from ET, not from the Ebola response. So I think we have to be aware of our position as outsiders. Because we're using local structures, it has to be more sustainable, and we all have to think about how sustainable it is what we're doing. We don't put up channels that then after we're gone are collapsing. Right? Like we need to really think about the sustainability of it. And they come continuously. Some waves are big, some waves are small, and even if it's only one rumor that we're getting, it's enough to act upon. In Nepal, people being afraid that if they're pregnant, that the child might be misformed. That's enough to act upon. So it comes in as it goes, and we can act upon it as it goes. But we look at it, and I think we should look at it much more from a sort of anthropological perspective, rather than looking at it only whether it's true or false. It's like, why are they sharing it? Why do they believe it? Right? That's a much more interesting question. And so it is about listening carefully, not just picking up what relates to our mandate, not just picking up what relates to our cluster, but really looking at the information as it comes to us and the way it comes to us. If you think I'm being a little bit too fluffy here, we're doing it. We're doing it in Nepal, we're doing it in Liberia, we're going to do it soon in Guinea as well, in the Ebola context. And so we do gather them, we unwrap them, and we distribute them among humanitarian partners and local media. So we get a rumor on one hand, we're going to unwrap it, and we share the facts according to those rumors with local media, with the contact details of those local specialists who know more about it, who you can contact. Challenges, obviously. Biggest challenge maybe that is the other way around. Opinions have a much bigger impact than facts very often. But that's the case anyway. That's happening right now as well. And we're focusing on the facts, and we're kind of afraid of all the more messy information around it. Scale, it is a problem, right? Like, I mean, if you go qualitative, like how to aggravate that kind of bigger context information that's coming in. Again, going local might be a solution. But yes, it is a challenge to scale it up and to aggravate qualitative information as such. I think, again, keeping it local, keeping it close, keep the feedback loop in time and in distance very much close to the people and close to where the rumors are coming from is a way of tackling that issue. Another, and it was tackled upon in the panel before, is like, how are we going to assess the quality of our projects? How are we going to convince the donors that this is actually relevant? So I think quality and the way we look at it, very often by quantifying it, we need to rethink it maybe, and we have to have a look at like, okay, if we have quality feedback, maybe, and this is just me giving it a shot behind my laptop, redefine the indicators. SMART, most people in the room might know that that is a M&E sort of approach. Let's redefine it. My most important one is this one, approachable. Like, we have to get more approachable. We shouldn't leave communication to communicators. We should just, as a system, be more open and allow your staff to talk to local media. Don't leave it up to the CWC specialist. That's it. A lot more in those slides. I wanted to keep me to the Ignite format, so the slides have rushed on, and I've tried to follow them. But a lot more behind it, and I think it really, the idea is challenging ourselves, like, how do we do it? Like, what are the tools we're using? And if I may, in the previous panel, like, I don't know what it should be. Like, this was just, the SMART was just my attempt, but I know that if you're not happy with the feedback you're getting, as in it's boring, it's predictable, maybe we're doing something wrong.